Well, good morning. How are you all today? I have a question for you. Are you ready to be an outlaw? Will you be an outlaw? Are you ready, willing, and able? All three of those things. Those are different things. To be an outlaw. Let's talk about that a little bit today. By the way, do you see that? Let me see if I can point that there. See those orange roses right there? Aren't they pretty? We have uh, we have rose bushes around the place, and the orange ones are some of my favorites. The reason that I want to talk about this, I think it's important. Uh, you know, we've heard, you've seen the T-shirts, right? When guns are outlawed, only outlaws will have guns, and then the tagline, "And I will be an outlaw." Well, maybe, maybe it's easy to talk big and to talk tough when nothing's really coming your way, but things may be coming our way, and the test could be upon us sometime soon. If this coming election goes the wrong way, meaning the way that most of us don't want it to go, if Kamala Harris or whoever is going to be on the top of that ticket, I said things could still happen. Uh, they are going to try to implement uh, all of their little commie policies, and if they're able to take back the House and to take the Senate, they're going to go like a ball of fire. They are going to put things through faster and harder than I think you can imagine. And don't think that can't happen. It can happen. A lot of people on our so-called side of the aisle are our end of the spectrum. I think they're a little bit too complacent, and they think, "Whoa, there's no way she can get in." Everybody I know is voting for Trump, and if you watch, it depends on where you get your news. I mean, I'm sure that the people who watch CNN and MSNBC think that there's no way in the world that Trump can win, and too many who watch Fox and depending on where you get your information, think there's no way that Kamala can win. Well, I kind of keep track of everything, and I think that there is a way that she can win. And I know some people are going to say she's not going to win. They're going to cheat and all that. Hey, uh, that is I won't say that it's not important, but it's not important. Let me just put it that way. I say that because somebody's going to call, "Oh, well, yes, it is important," blah, blah, blah. Hey, if they are able to take the reins of government, how they did it is not important. What is important is that they did, and you're living under it. Okay? I mean, just to be real plain about it. If that happens, all of these things that they have said they wanted, mandatory gun buybacks, right? Confiscation. And here again, if you're new to the channel, this is not a channel where I allow a little nitpicking, people to come on and say that's unconstitutional. I deal with reality here. I deal with reality because you have to deal with reality if you're going to be prepared for reality. Preparing for fantasy is much different, but it doesn't get you very far, right? So what if they do get in, and the economy collapses, because it will, because their purpose is to take this country to a full communistic country, and it's approaching there. It's not there yet, but it's approaching there. And they're going to want the guns, and they're going to increase taxes like you can't believe. And you've heard them say before, "We're not going to increase taxes, not a penny on anybody making under 400,000 a year." Well, that's kind of in the same category as if, well, if you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, and if you like your health insurance, you can keep your health insurance. And this is going to save Obamacare is going to save $2,500 for every family. Well, it's all lies, and you know that. It's the way that they sell sell their programs to the idiots, who vote, and there's always plenty of idiots to make it closer to pull out a victory for them. Um, so they're going to increase taxes. They're going to continue this insanity about the Green New Deal. They are going to give our sovereignty more over to the global organizations, whether it's the United Nations or the WEF or the World Health Organization, whatever. Uh, we're going to feel a boot on our neck like we've never felt before. And then you have a choice to make. As many of you know, I'm writing a new book. It's a modern organized crime book. It's another area that I have quite a bit of experience in. And I'm not going to tell you the name of it. I'm about to announce the name over on the Patreon channel. And I've already designed the cover, and I might show the patrons over there a picture of the cover. If you're not with us on Patreon, you're welcome to come over. It's $1 a month, and the link's down below. And in it, I explain kind of, I take it back to the roots of many of the organized crime organizations. Not all of them. Some of them were just criminal, but some of the ones that were started in the old world and in the new world, in the United States, some, as a way to simply allow people to support their families and protect themselves against an oppressive government. And if this election goes, and so I get into explaining it. It's an organized crime book, but people who understand preparedness are going to see all of the preparedness lessons in it. I would say this is really a preparedness book, as disguised as a mob organized crime book. I know you're gonna like it. So if this goes the wrong way, you're going to have a choice to make, and that is whether to be a good little doobie and obey all the words and just allow yourself to be, kicked around, or whether you're going to be ready, willing, and able to establish kind of a parallel life, a parallel economy, and to be able to support your family, continue to support your family well, and protect yourself against an increasingly oppressive government. Now, how do you do that? Okay, and I should put on here too, if you're new to my channel, I also don't put up with statements and comments like, if they come for me, I'm gonna fight them. Well, that's just stupid. I mean, okay, fight them, and they're going to kill you, and your family's not going to have a wife, a husband, and or a wife if it's a wife, it's a husband or a father. So good for you, right? You stood up for your T-shirt, and now you've destroyed your family. Don't do that. That's stupid. Wisdom guides that you do what it takes to do what you should, in order to continue to provide for and protect for your family under the guidance of the good Lord. So when I say ready, willing, and able, well, first off, you have to be willing. Let's take it in the opposite, because I think very often that saying is kind of backwards. You have to be willing to step outside. And I don't, also, let me caution here, don't anybody put on here what you're going to do, okay? The first step to not being able to do anything is to tell the world what you're going to do, right? Don't do, I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm going to give you the directions, okay? I'm going to show you, I am the flashlight that shines down the road that shows you the direction you go, but you've got to make the choices and make the decisions yourself. Now, in some case, my book will do a lot of it. So when it comes out, I'm writing this book so fast. I mean, this is a lot easier than my Stonemont books, to be honest, because when I write the Stonemont series, I'm writing about something that hasn't really happened, right? So I'm having to make up, okay, what would happen here and what would happen here, and I base it on my knowledge of people and history and things like that. But when I'm writing this organized crime book, man, I mean, it's just spilling out of me. It's people I know. It's things that I know. It's things that I've done. It's things, it's just, I can hardly write fast enough to keep up with the story. So it's just spilling out. But you all going to learn a lot. So first off, you have to be willing. Are you willing to step outside the lines of the rules of society? Many people will say that they are, but when it comes down to it, they don't. Look at all the people that said they wouldn't wear a mask and did. Well, now I did in many cases. That was just to make my life easier. Okay, that was not some big moral decision. Okay, I do not. It was a way so I don't have to spend half my day arguing with people about I'm not going to wear a mask coming into your store. Sometimes you got to learn when to fly below the radar. And when it's worth your while to stick your head up. But look at all the people that said, well, I'm not taking the shot, and they did. I didn't. Now, see, that shows you that you have to decide where you're going to stand. Kelly and I, for new people, Kelly's my wife, we both lost our jobs because we refused to take the shot, and we refused to allow them to give us testing. They were going to allow us. They accepted our religious exemption, but said that we had to submit to weekly testing, and we said absolutely not going to happen. They said, well, you're going to lose your jobs. We said, fine, take it. You see, we were able to do that because we were prepared. We had many other income streams, and they didn't know it. They thought they could corner us and buffalo us and threaten us with our jobs and the destruction of our families. That happened to a lot of people. A lot of families were just destroyed. Whether through death or whether through losing their jobs or shutting down their businesses or whatever. And don't think they won't do this again, because they will. So first off, you have to be willing and know when you're willing to step outside the line, how far outside the line you're willing to step. And here comes the question of what's the difference between illegal and immoral? I won't step outside an immoral line, but there's a lot of things, a lot of laws that are immoral, okay? Right? The old saying that the average person can't make it till lunch without committing, 3 or 4 felonies. Simply because there's so many laws on the books, nobody knows them all. Nobody knows most of them. But they write so many laws because that's what those assholes up in that we vote and put up in Washington, they sit around and they think that their job is to make a bunch of laws. And it just makes our lives more complicated. I don't have to tell you that. So you have to be willing. Okay. Now, the next step, you have to be able. Have you done the things that enable you to live outside the bounds of society? Okay. I mean, we've talked about those a number of times. Do you have a multitude of ways to bring in money? Okay. Or are you going to, if your business, if Kamala decides that your business needs to be shut down, or if they need to shut down all the businesses again because of the next great pandemic, what are you going to do? You're going to wait for your monthly stimulus check? Your paltry, what was it, $1,500 a month or something like that? No. Are you ready? Can you withstand an economic attack, like an economic collapse? Okay. Have you prepared for that? And that's why I always stress economic preparedness. That's why I always say, with the 3 M's of preparedness, make more money. Money is the road to preparedness. Oh, I know. You have to be able to start a fire 9 million different ways, and you have to be able to make a super shelter with a piece of string and a pocket knife, right? No, that's not preparedness. Okay, that's not preparedness for the world we're headed into. So you need the most resources you can have, and money is usually the tool that we use to get those resources. And here comes the person. I see them typing right now. But things don't replace knowledge. You're right. Did I say don't have knowledge? Dummy. I said it not to you guys, but I see this guys coming. They say the same things all the time. No. Knowledge is the base, but not just the knowledge on how to live in the woods, right? Knowledge about the world, how the world works. So are you able? Are you able? Are you financially able? Are you physically able to live outside the lines? Okay. And then the third, in doing this in reverse order, are you ready? Are you ready for this to happen? And you have to consider this. As a matter of fact, if you really want to be prepared, you have to assume that it's going to happen. That's the best way to prepare for anything. Assume that it's going to happen. You know, I tell my son that he's just started football this year, and he didn't know much about the game, but he's playing offensive and defensive tackle, and I say assume that the guy is going to come right through your slot. Mostly he won't, but if you don't think that he's going to, if you don't assume he's going to, you're not going to be as ready, right? If you're waiting to see if he's running through your slot, too late, right? You have to assume that it's going to happen, and we have to do the same thing here. Assume that Camel is going to win. You know what? Others, somebody else will come on, and I'll warn them right now. I will delete your comment because I just don't let stupid stuff stand in the comment section. Somebody will say, well, that's a defeatist attitude. I refuse to live on my knees. I refuse to have a defeatist attitude. This is America. Well, this is a changing America, and it's America. You need to be willing, ready, willing, and able to deal with reality. Okay? And the reality is this could happen. So going on the assumption that it will happen will prepare you better to be ready for it. Simple as that. So think about it. Are you ready? Okay. Going backwards again. Are you able? If they get in and they start, they all of a sudden, the next day the news says there is a mandatory AR-15 buyback national. What are you going to do? You have don't put it on here. Do not put this comment on here. That shows me you're not serious. Because why? Why would you tell the enemy what you're going to do? So that you just say, "Come get me." Okay. Be circumspect in what you say. So what are you going to do? And the old, this just aggravates me every time I hear it. The boating accident. There have not been that many boating accidents. And do you think these people are stupid? Trust me, they may be evil, but they're not stupid, okay? Nobody's getting away with the boating accident. Or the house fire. They got stolen. Okay, where's the report? Where's the police report? So don't do that. Let's stay in Realville, okay? So if that happens, what are you going to do? Are you ready? Take the steps now to be ready for that. And there are steps you can take. I'm not going to tell you what they are. You have to decide. You have to figure it out. If all of a sudden more limitations are put on your travel, if there's another pandemic, if war is declared, and now I have a son who just turned 18, and now they have made registration for the draft automatic, so they don't have to go down there and register for the draft. And here's another. I keep, every time I say something, it reminds me of comments that I will get, and somebody will come on and say, well, no, I believe in the draft. The draft and the good king. It made me a man. And I say, well, My father made me a man, and that's a father's job. It's not the government's job to make somebody a man. Okay. Yeah, I know there's some out there that need it, but no, I'm not a proponent of the draft. But if they decide now we're going, and they start calling up all the youngins, are you ready for that? Have you decided what you're going to do? This is the time to decide. If taxes explode, this is the time to decide how you're going to continue to live. If our economy tanks, now is the time for you to plan for that. If as a result of so much of what's going on in the world, our supply chain does anything from pauses to crashes, are you ready for that? Are you ready to essentially hold up and live through it with both a defensive and an offensive posture? And what I mean by that is defensive. You can you can hold on yourself with what you have, but you have to continue participating in the world, in society, because that's one of your greatest protections. And a lot of that is financial, and some of it is political. I'll probably be talking about the political aspect in another video. I don't know whether I'll do it on YouTube or just on Patreon. But I also talk about that in my upcoming book. So the question is, when you have to think about all these things, if things go the wrong way, are you going to be an outlaw? Are you really going to be an outlaw? Are you willing to be an outlaw? Are you able to live outside the law? The law of the land. Corrupt laws, are they laws to be obeyed? I'll leave that to you to answer. And are you ready? Well, I think you better be. You better be getting ready. And the time is now. Okay, we're only a little over a month from the election. And even if the election goes our way, I'll tell you guys, that's when it's really going to explode, and you need to be prepared. But I'll talk about that more on another one. All right, think about that. Think about, are you ready? Are you willing? Are you able? I hope you are, and if you're not, I hope you get that way. Remember that we prepare well today. I didn't even tell you about my mugs, but that's all right. By the way, if you want to really learn how to get ready, the Stonemont series, the link is down below. My books, read them if you haven't. You'll get more out of them than you can imagine. You can get them on Amazon, or the better way is to get them directly from me through our website, stonemont.us. And then I get to sign them for you and write a little note in there for you and all that. And you can also find all of our mugs and things like that. So think about that. Remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. And tomorrow's coming. Are you going to be ready? All right. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.